Well, hello and welcome to GeoSnippits. I'm Headhardhat. In the next few minutes, we're going to give you some interesting information and tidbits about the game, the sport, yes, the obsession, known as geocaching. So why is it good to have an emergency geocache repair kit? Well, over the years I've noticed that you do come across geocaches that do get damaged. For example, geocaches in cold climates, the plastic can become very brittle in the cold, and it's very easy to take a hiking pole and accidentally poke a hole through the lid or through the side of it. In hot climates, the opposite happens. The sun can somehow warp or contort the geocache so that moisture somehow gets inside, seals break, that kind of thing. And wouldn't it be great to have something like this with items in it to repair a geocache at any given moment? So it's kind of like the Boy Scouts being prepared. Having an emergency geocache repair kit is the great way to go. So let's now go see what's inside one of these so you can make your own. Let's go now. Okay, so let's go over some of the items that are in my emergency geocache repair kit. These are just suggestions, and I'm sure there are a bunch of other ideas that you may personally have that you want to have in your repair kit that I may not have in mine. What I have here is what I thought are some of the more unique items that you need when you're out with geocaching, and a nice thing to know. But let's go over what they have now. For example, you'll notice a lot of the items that I have are in baggies. The reason for this is you can keep them nice and neat. They keep out of the moisture, even if it is in the trunk of your car. It's just a nice way of organizing your items. You do what you feel is best. Now, for example, the first item that I have here in my baggies are ties. These are really handy for doing things like tying a geocache to a branch or a bush. Sometimes these break. And they are nice to have that you can go and replace those if needed. Something you may or may not have considered is Velcro. Velcro is very cool as well. You can go through and take this. A lot of times people use 35mm containers or other geocaching containers that are not magnetic, but they want it to stick to an area, and sometimes over time that Velcro loses its connectivity, so it's always nice to be able to have some spare to replace Velcro if needed. Next item, logbooks. This is probably one of the #1 things that you're going to find to need to be replaced in any geocache, whether it's big, small, doesn't matter. I like to keep the notepad ones if you need to for the bigger geocaches. I also keep a variety of size logbooks as well, from big ones like this to ones that'll fit in a 35mm or smaller. It's always good to have spare logbooks with you no matter where you go, whether it's in your repair kit, when it's in your backpack. You're gonna come across goo, in other words, logbooks that have become so wet you can't even write on them. They need to be replaced. They're not retrievable. Just take the old goo out and replace it with a new one. That'll make you, the geocache owner, very happy for you to do something like that. And it's a good thing to do. Now, another thing that I like to keep are baggies. This is almost as needed as the spare logbooks. I usually keep 2 different sizes. I keep a teeny tiny logbook, is the one that you'll mainly find geocachers use for 35mm. There's also this little slightly larger size baggie as well that's also very useful for larger logbooks. Keeping these in a repair kit, you're going to be using these the most, just like the logbooks. So always keep with you spare baggies. Now let me throw an idea at you that you may not have considered. When I was geocaching up in Michigan not too long ago, one of the things that I found they were using in the regular, even the small geocaches, but any size bigger than a micro, what they were doing is they were taking either 35mm containers or plastic containers that seal really well, and they put the logbooks in this and then put this in the geocache. That really worked better than even the baggies. So just a suggestion that you might want to consider using plastic containers like 35mm, even the ones that don't have the great seal, the gray and the black ones that have the cap that fits on top. For a logbook inside another geocache, they work great. So just a little helpful hint from the Headhardhat to you. Some of the other basics that you would want to consider keeping with you, just cause one of the things that I keep is a relatively thick twine. You never know when you're going to need it, and I can give you different examples where sometimes people tie geocaches and hang them from trees, that kind of stuff. I actually even use parachute cord. A lot of times you can get those in the nice dark colors like black and green and gray. This white I keep just in case, but some kind of string is always helpful to have with you. Some of the other bare necessities that you might want to consider with having in your emergency repair kit is things like scissors. You never know when you got to cut something, like logbooks, twine, you name it. Extra pens. Another one is what I like to use is Gorilla Glue. Now, Gorilla Glue is extremely strong glue. A lot of times people will take a magnet and put it at the end of a 35mm container to hold it in place someplace, but over time that glue breaks and it breaks apart. Using Gorilla Glue is a great way of repairing that and putting it back in place. And of course, the number one thing above all that should be in every kit everywhere is duct tape. This particular duct tape is the real strong type. I highly recommend keeping this because what this is used for is repairing those lids that have cracks in them or holes in them. This type of tape does a really good job because it's semi-waterproof. It's not a permanent fix, but it's enough to repair that geocache until the owner can come out and replace it. Okay, so let's quickly go over what we learned today. We learned that having an emergency geocache repair kit is a fantastic idea. Why? Because you're going to come across geocaches that do get damaged. Wouldn't it be great to have a little toolbox set up right in your trunk that you can repair that damaged geocache, notify the geocaching owner that it needs to be replaced, and save all that swag right down to the logbook from getting further damage. It's time to go. This is Headhardhat from GeoSnippits saying we hope to see you out on the trails real soon. Bye-bye, folks.